Hello. We are just coming in live and hoping we stay connected because the internet is wonky. It goes with the fire and water we have happening today with the sun sign and the moon sign. The moon is in Aries and the moon is in Aries, I think, and the sun is in Cancer. So there's a little bit of a back and forth energy happening. So to all who's joining us, welcome. We're going to try to stay in. My camera's in the wrong spot, so I'm kind of looking in the wrong area. I'm trying to get it fixed. Hello, Felicia. So we're broadcasting on YouTube and on Facebook at the same time. And today I have two guests joining me. And one is in right now, and this is Lisa Richard, Loving Energy Recharge, who you'll always hear me speak of. And of course, you have seen her in here. And then Michelle Gibson will be joining us very shortly here. And so we're coming in to talk about and pull cards from the Everyday Goddess cards. And of course, for those who don't know, Lisa is the editor of the Goddess cards, and she is the writer of the message for card 17, Serenity. And she's also the architect builder of it, of the deck, of the box, of the booklet, all of those things. And so today she's joined me because she knows these cards inside and out, and she knows how these new Everyday Goddess Oracle cards kick our ass. So, and this is my new deck. It is available. We will share the link later as well for the cards. But for now, we're going to come in. We're just letting people join in. So we're just watching the room fill up and just getting some people in here. Feel free to share this video out. I am kind of in the shadow band. I'm in the shadow band of the Facebook world. So feel free to share and send your comments. And if you would like a card, please post you would like a card. Can't wait to order yours. Yes, Wendy. Yeah, there's they are going out like crazy. I have to say, I have never been to the post office so much in my life as what I have been. They actually sent me home with a whole box of the boxes the other day and said, here, take those home and go home and fill them out and come back. I'm like, oh, good idea. So yeah, so I have a whole box and yeah, but here we are. And we're just waiting for everyone to come, waiting for the room to fill up a little bit here. And I'm just checking to make sure I am on YouTube. There was some complication. Oh no, Wendy's on YouTube. We're good.
Yeah, looks like you're good on there.
Okay,
perfect. You have one request for a card already, Brianna.
Oh yeah.
And Felicity. Yeah, there's a couple comments now coming through. There's a little bit of delay, but yeah, it's starting to come.
So if we lose connection, stay with us. We will come back in. And yeah, and so we are just gonna start right in with some cards. So anyone who you know of could use an Everyday Goddess Oracle card, then invite them in.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's why don't we go ahead right away and maybe start. You want to jump in and start with Brianna? That's the first one that I see on my end. I'm not sure if I have all the same comments that you do, but Brianna, it looks like you are the first on the list for what I am seeing.
Okay, do you want to go? Do you want to pull the first card for her?
You know what? Let's do it. I've been shuffling these cards like crazy because there's just a sense of excitement of wanting to share this beautiful system out. And like Corrie mentioned, I had done the editing through the guidebook, but it was so much more of a transformational journey than just that. You know, I like our attitude. And my daughter, Amelia Richard, being the artist of the artwork in them, it was also beautiful unfolding of the progress within herself as she learned to have more and more faith under Corrie's guidance, under what was coming through in the wisdom. And, you know, I really feel like these cards, the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, really allow us to just try, to just be human, to just embrace the journey, to have some fun with it. And for that reason, I'm excited to jump in and share. And I'm going to ask what Brianna needs for the highest good today from the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. So Brianna, you got Serenity, which just happens to be the card that I put into the book myself. And Brianna, I got to tell you a little bit of a story behind this one because I think it might tie into some of your journey and really just a testimony to the magic that is always around us out in the world. This picture in the background, it actually became a illustration from a real moment that both my daughter and I witnessed. And we had just moved to Vancouver Island. I was out on my deck one afternoon and I had all of this clouds kind of billowing in, and I thought it was smoke. And I called my daughter up and I said, there's a fire going on. There's something happening in the area. Let's go check it out, right? Because human nature, you're kind of curious. You want to know what's happening. And her and I went for a drive. We happened to meet at the ocean. And we were just seeing all these billowing, what we termed fog or clouds that turned out to be fog. And we kind of witnessed that moment of, we didn't have any understanding of what fog was. So we termed it to be smoke. We termed it to be something dangerous. Lo and behold, we find ourselves at the ocean and the fog kind of parted ways. And in behind was this beautiful rainbow that I happened to be standing right in the center of. And my daughter Amelia took a picture. Now, when we got that picture back, it looked like I was standing in an eyeball in this beautiful moment where there was just such awe and magic in the world. And it only lasted for maybe about 5 minutes. And I really reflect back on that journey. And I'm sharing that story with you because sometimes we look out into the world and things appear to be scary. They appear to be clouded over. And, we can create all sorts of different scenarios in our head when the reality is, when we allow ourselves to just kind of breathe through it and have fun, it can be a real sense of adventure and a real awe. So that was how Serenity was born. Serenity kind of came to the point of, allowing yourself to be still no matter what is going out in the world. Breathing back into yourself, being calm, surrendering that over to a higher power, reminding yourself of all the awe and the magic that you have witnessed up into this point, and not letting things kind of get in there and creep in to disturb your inner peace. Because I do feel like you are somebody who is naturally calm when you're not influenced by others. So if you're feeling like, things are happening in your world right now, or trying to creep in and kind of get you off of that point, hold back into where you are. Remind yourself of your place. Remind yourself of what you know to be true. Those experiences, those moments, those opportunities to be at peace, and just be your beautiful self, Brianna. Let yourself go and share and find that magic out in the world. Brianna, that's so true. Good. And I love it because it says 1715 is when your message came in on my end. Well, this is card number 17. And you got the 1 and the 5. So it's kind of like the 1 is all new beginnings and the 5 is all about change. The change is in our hands, right? So let it be your journey. Let it be your way. And don't stop chasing the magic, Brianna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Michelle.
And hello, Michelle. And now we have Michelle Gibson join us. And so we're working with Brianna right now. And I've pulled a card for Brianna as well. And so, yes, Lisa Starfriend, we're on here live. And so, Brianna, I pulled Master Manipulator Mavis. And we always say she's probably not one of the prettiest, most aesthetic cards in the deck. But she's a powerful card. And she's got something so powerful. And of course, you can't see her face. You can't see her in the mist, but she's very present. And so this card really represents the power of your presence and who is showing up. Is it your shadow? Is it your fears? Is it the attitude? Is it who's showing up? Is it the archetype that you play in life? Is it the pleaser, the fixer, the bleeding heart? All of those, like who's showing up. And so it's so important that you recognize the habits to why you do some of the things that you do. And so this card also is a 34, and she's in the crone energy. And it's hard to be able to see the crone part of it in the lights because there's so much light there. And so being that number, she's a 7. So she's at a pivotal point. And I feel like for you, you're at a pivotal point in your life. And it's so easy to be the master manipulator of our own stories, to get us to be our self-saboteur, to sabotage anything that's coming up, to talk ourselves out of something. There is things that are happening in your life that are about change. And you have to know that you have to be aware of not talking yourself out of doing the things that you really would love to do or you really want to do, or really embracing life, but making sure that it is you, the authentic true you, that is present, because your presence, your truth being present, is what's going to make a difference in the direction that you actually walk. Remember, if you make your choices because you hear the chatter of other people, then it's not your choice, it's not your decision. You're making your decision based on what you're hearing from somebody else. And so there's a lot of hearts on this card. And there is a lot of these beautiful yellow birds. The yellow birds really speak about spirit. And spirit will guide us. And spirit doesn't have any desired outcome. Friends, family, there's often an ulterior motive, right? To get you to do the things that they want you to do. Not even intentionally taking you away from what you want, but there is ulterior motives to those things. Spirit has no ego desire to get you to do anything that is for them. It is always going to be the essence of for your highest good. That's why we don't get what we want. We get what we need in life. And that's why everything don't always work out. And thank God it doesn't. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I go with that. And so, Brad, I remember being young and I used to always want to get this tattoo. And it was like a monkey swinging from a vine. And it's really funny. And it was going to be on my thigh. And it was going to say, and because I thought it was hilarious. And it was going to say, like, welcome to my jungle. And thank God nothing worked out for me to get that tattoo for years, including not having the finances, because I would have had to live with that choice and that decision, because that would have been my shadow. That would have been me mimicking and mocking myself, making myself out to be the joke, because I always believed myself to be the joke. And so I had a habit of mimicking and mocking myself and sabotaging my divine self, my beautiful self. And so that, thank God, was one of those things that didn't work out. And so that is where the master manipulator come in. We can tell ourselves any story. We can become any role to play the characters in the stories of what people expect of us. But that doesn't mean that's who you are. And so I feel like there are some big shifts happening around you, and for you to fully embrace them. And that's what I got for you, Bram. And of course, we do it with a little bit of humor. This card is rooted and grounded, and her head might be in the fog, in the clouds, but she's not, right? The mind may be, but she knows where she's going, and trust that. You do know what you really want and where you really want to be, and don't sway from that. Hello, Michelle.
Hello. I pulled a card. First, I have to say how friggin' excited I am to be holding this deck in my hand.
Did yours come in the mail?
Yeah, I got them today when I got home.
Yay!
That was my meant to be here, I guess.
Yep.
So Brianna, I got the illusionist paradox. So what I'm kind of hearing is that it's almost like you're allowing the illusions of others to come into your life, and that you're not actually taking a really good look yourself at what is going on. And sometimes we're the best at making our own illusions and creating our own illusions in our life to make life justified or things in life be a certain way. So this is just telling you that actually it's time to take a closer look at things that are happening around you, and to really start to ask the questions, asking your higher self, like, is this for real, or is this for not? And is this going to serve my greater good, basically, is what I'm hearing around this. Yeah. So that is what I got for you right now.
Thank you. And we are going to go with, I think Felicia was the second one to ask for a card. So we're going to work our way down here. If you want a card, just put your name in, and we're going to try our best to do as many as we can in the time that we have. So we are here if you want a card. And once you ask, you're on the list. So
Get asking.
Get asking, yeah.
You are very welcome, Brianna. And these cards are now available. If you go to the website, I'm like, camera's over here. So this is the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, and they are now available. You can purchase your own deck. I just was at the mail again today. I'm a regular at the post office now. And they'll either come from Alberta or they'll come from BC. They'll either be coming from Lisa or they'll be shipped from Alberta.
Yeah, and if you're on Vancouver Island, I've been hand delivering some, which is, even extra special for me because I get to say hi and hand them over in person. So if you're on the island, you got a connection to get them maybe even a little bit quicker.
Right? She's hand delivering. Felicia. All right. So Felicia, I actually pulled attachment Beatrice. And I'm like, why am I pulling the complicated cards? These are the cards in the deck that I'm like, but I love them. So there's an energy of either like heaviness, grounded, rooted, or like or muted. So she's kind of a faded image. And sometimes we become so attached to our stories and to our past that you don't realize that you're actually muted in your present, in your now. It's like the right now moments in your life, you're actually muted. You're not shining, you're not shimmery, you're not here because the attachments have you tied to still being motivated and still being moved, trying to exist from dead energy, past energy. And so the past has dead energy. It has no life to it. So you're feeding sometimes off the past, either still trying to be better than that, still trying to improve yourself from that. But what do you got to improve and what do you got to prove? Remember that. What have you got to improve and what do you got to prove? Neither one exists. Both comes from stories. It's not about improvement. It's about evolution. It's about evolving. It's about letting yourself detach from all the stories that you're here to make life better than what it was, or to do better. You didn't know any better to do better. And if you're comparing yourself to the past version of yourself, it's the same thing as comparing yourself to somebody else. It's the same thing as looking out into the world and saying you're, comparing yourself to, say, a friend who's in a certain position and say, I want that, or I got to be better than that, or I got something to prove. That version of yourself no longer exists. And so when we're looking out into the world or we're looking into the past, we forget that we can defy the odds of everything else that have ever happened. And when we look at it, instead of trying to improve it, we stop chasing. And you have to stop chasing life and start allowing life. Be open to receiving, because there's a whole lot of you that is not really here. There's a whole lot of shadow self. There's a whole lot of whys to the past that has created you, that's created the protection, the warrior, all that you have to be able to, in survival mode, that is in the now. But where's Felicia? And who is Felicia? Who would she be with no stories? And so Beatrice speaks about, they say those little wings should not be able to carry a bee, because a bee should be too fat to fly. And so the bee has these wings, these little wings, and it's amazing how those little wings can carry something that is quadruple. It's the weight of the bee is quadruple the wings in weight, right? And so these little wings. So you can defy the odds by believing in you and the you that's right here, and believing and trusting what you're feeling, believing what your intuition is telling you, but also asking yourself, why do I feel this way, and where's this coming from? Is this my truth for today, or is this still past? Right? And so, but believe your feelings, not believe in you, believe you, because you have to believe you, and you have to trust that is enough. And that's what I got for you. And I hope somehow that helps you. And I don't want to, I could go on forever, but I'm going to let the girls take it from here, because the cards will give the story. So everyone is getting a 3-card reading. Whoever is chosen is getting a 3-card reading. And so each card somehow ties into mind, body, soul. So whichever order they come out in, it's somehow tying to your mind, to your body, to your spirit. So let's connect. We are bringing you into alignment. So there's a healing happening here for you all tonight.
Beautiful. So Felicia, I also have pulled a card for you, but I'm going to clear my throat first. And I want to share that, doing a bunch of extensive training underneath Corrie Thorne for the last couple of years has really allowed me to also come from a place of trusting in how spirit communicates with us. And I'm sharing that with you, Felicia, because I feel that this may resonate with you as well. And, I'm getting all this sensation in here where my throat wants to totally close off. And that tells me that, there's something within the throat chakra that is trying to be expressed through you. Now, I'm somebody who 6 years ago didn't have a voice, would not appear in front of the camera, and I hid under this label called shy. Hence to say, going through More Than Existing, going through a lot of training with Corrie, allowing myself to step forward and to embrace the spiritual side has kind of taken that label of being shy and kind of thrown it out of the window. And, now you're seeing somebody today who has done a lot of work to get there, but it's been worth the journey. Now I'm feeling for within yourself, the same is equally correct. You're doing a lot of work. You're really going through the different layers of yourself, and don't give up on that, because sometimes it feels like you're not making progress. But when you really stop to look back from where you were, you're going to see yourself in leaps and bounds of your own journey. Now, when I flipped a card for you, I left it upside down, and there was this element of, let life surprise you. So we're going to look at it for the first time here. And we have Mavis. We have the manipulator. So just like Corrie shared in the last message, this is all about those illusions, those masks, those realities that, we're trying to pretend to be so many things for others. But who are you for you? So when you allow yourself to really get deep, right, get into the heart of who you are, she's holding the heart within her hands, change is in our hands. Unveiling who you are, the core of yourself, is in your hands. Taking responsibility for the journey is in your hands. Don't let the world try to strip away from you what you know to be the truth. And I'm really drawn to this red in the background here of this card for you, because it's almost like that inner fire that's kind of rising to clear away and support you in some of that. So don't worry so much about trying to be something for everybody else. Learn to come back into here and ask, what does Felicia need for her? What is your wildest dreams? What if you allowed yourself to express that voice? What if you found some way to, open up that throat chakra? What if you dare to step forward and challenge those labels that maybe have been placed on you since childhood? What if that is not who you really are? So allow yourself to be inspired by the master manipulator, because it's our mind that prevents us from really living life. But if you challenge that and you say, I'm just going to try. I may not get it right. It may not be pretty, but I'm going to go have some fun, because life is too short to not get out there and allow yourself just to experience it. It's not about being perfect. I hope that helps you, Felicia.
That's so funny you talk about the training, Lisa, because I was just about to say, pay attention to some of we give out little hints about stuff that we've learned and had to deal with ourselves, like the feeling of things. And like you said, feeling it in your throat chakra. And then another funny thing was, I have a card, but I was told to pick up the top one on the card, and I got that same card. So that's clarification right there, right? But the card I did originally, it popped out, was the Sycophant of Pain, jewels. And so what I'm getting is, there's a lot of harboring pain. Like you take on everybody else's pain in order to help them. But where's the help when it comes to you? And that, you really truly have to start asking. Here's a hint. You have to start asking, is this mine or is this yours? So you have to learn to start deciphering whose pain is your or theirs and what is really actually your pain, because you can be filled with a room full of people with so much pain and you're not understanding exactly why you're feeling this way and stuff like this. And also you're the person who wants to take on the pain of everybody else. So you are kind of allowing that in. Guilty as charged, been there, done that as well. But at the same time, you have to go through your own feels and feel your own pains and deal with all of that stuff yourself. And then maybe when you're okay, you can then help other people. So master manipulator is, I get to like almost like you're manipulating yourself to think that you do have to always take on people's pain, but you do not have to. Yeah. Get out of there.
Love it. And I think it's your turn to pick, Michelle. I had a turn. Corrie had a turn. I think you're going with it.
Down the line, or are we picking who we want?
Just down the line. Go down the line.
I don't know if I'll get to see all of them, will I?
I'll just hold on. And of course we can see the comments of people on YouTube as well. So just Facebook itself can't see your comments. So you're still included.
Books?
Yeah, you can see both, but usually you can't see the in the comments if you're on Facebook. So if you see us talking to someone you can't see, I'm just trying to get that.
It.
My mouse died, so I'm trying to charge my mouse here. So I think after Felicia was Wendy.
Okay. So I can see Wendy. I see Wendy. Hello, lovely ladies. All right, Wendy.
Yeah, because you have to ask for the card. We won't just choose you. So we have Wendy, and then we have Sherry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I starting off with Wendy? Who are we going?
You go for it, Michelle.
Go. You want me to do it?
Yep, you're starting.
Wendy. I'm sorry. I just heard this girl needs a little bit of an ass kicking again. So, and nothing better than actually have Karina as that card. Whether I'm in it or she's in it, the ass kicking's coming out. So Karina is awareness of truth. You're slipping with the truths again. The truths are falling back. You're justifying things. You're making things you don't want to believe is what's going on right now. There's something happening around you again that you don't want to believe, and that you don't want to believe because you're tired of the hurt and the pain that you're feeling around all of this situation. You're being told to be strong again. And Karina comes with so much strength. She's probably one of the strongest people I know. And so you're being told that you have to harness your Karina again, and you have to really be strong and, get yourself back on track again with Wendy. I know it sucks when we're never in class anymore, because we all we love our classes and we love connecting and we love, learning about ourselves more. But at the same time, you're being told you have to figure some things out yourself. So you have to figure out the truth behind Wendy and all that you have to offer. And you have to start really feeling what you really, really feel, and you have to accept that. So definitely looking at some hard truths, and not to waver anymore. Like, really don't waver, and be very true to Wendy. Be true to Wendy. So definitely grabbing a little bit of extra strength there and pushing forward and pushing through the hard stuff. And also you're being asked and told to reach out. You have a lot of soul sisters out there for you. So you're being asked to reach out and, just even ask for an air hug or like a etherical hug or what would you say? Ethereal hug? One that comes to, sometimes you can feel those too. So not sometimes, they are there all the time, and it does work that way as well. So definitely start looking behind the blinders, turning the blinders off.
Perfect. And I just want to say, if you're watching, we can see like there's a lot of people who are watching. And if you're just watching and you do want a card, you do have to speak up and add your name onto the list. And if you say hi and you want a card, then make sure you comment that you want a card chosen for you. So because everybody is getting 3 cards. So we're trying to work through it pretty fast so we can get through people. But yeah, but we're going to keep going with Wendy for now. And the messages may resonate with you. And if it's resonating with you, then take it, because the message is also for you. So yeah. And so we're going to go with Lisa's going to pull for Wendy next.
Beautiful. So Wendy, I have your card in front of me. And again, I didn't peek. I didn't want to take a look at it. And I know you like surprises that way as well. And I can almost hear your laughter when Michelle started and said, you're here for a little bit of an ass kicking. And, that's something that maybe you need to be reminded of, is that you're not afraid to do the hard work. You can really count on yourself and your tenacity for really taking life and having the ability to kind of dissect through it, to then take something that seems so friggin' big, but make it into more manageable pieces. It is something that you do very, very well. And I feel like you needed to be reminded of that tonight. So your card is benevolence. This is Mary, and this is a beautiful, beautiful card to have, because it's really tapping into reminding yourself of all of those beautiful qualities within you, and also not being afraid to be vulnerable. You can see in the background here, everything is kind of stripped away. She's getting raw. She's getting naked. It feels a little bit, uncomfortable to be that part of ourselves, because we like to step forward. We like to have fun. We like to be in the spotlight, but we don't like to have those shadows come into the spotlight. Now, we all know that to be human is to be perfectly imperfect, and that's the journey through authenticity. And there's nothing that makes the heart sing. And Wendy, I know this is resonating with you as well. When you get to be in the presence of somebody who is so authentic, it doesn't matter if they're having a good day, a bad day, if they're doing stuff that maybe they shouldn't, as long as they're being authentic to you, you welcome that in. I feel like this is your reminder of, watch your mind talk. Because if you allow that for other people, why are you judging and making yourself feel like you always have to get it right, or you always have to be perfect? So the message that's coming in is love yourself enough to honor all of those layers that are being stripped away as you are emerging forward, more and more in that vulnerability, but also more and more in that beautiful truth, the core of what's inside Wendy. So this also goes deep, and I'm going to say maybe go back and redo some of your more than existing modules, those reflection questions, those powerful ones that Corrie provides to the students, because that is a great way to get really, really deep inside there. Thanks, Wendy.
All right, Wendy. So I'm putting on the glasses, but and thank you, Sharon. And thank you to everyone who's joining in. It's so good to see the room filling up and so much energy in here. I just want to say that there's so much, because we are literally picking up your energies. So there's just so much energy just swirling around, and we're just like bringing life just into this room. So I pulled the Eye of the Beholder Queenie for you. And so when you do get these cards, they do come with a booklet. We're reading you, and we're allowing the oracle to speak, but the books do come with the cards come with their own book. And so it tells you where you are. If it's upright, it's in inspiration. If it's in reverse, then it's in attitude. So yours came out kind of sideways. So it came out a little bit in inspiration and a little bit in attitude. So what attitude is actually called reverse. So when the card comes out in reverse, it speaks about we're not really in our truth, right? And so the eye of the beholder, so you are and you're not. So there can be, this can be true and that can be true. And it depends on who the truth is for and what we're willing to see and what we're unwilling to see. And so sometimes our truths is the truths that we have locked into, but it doesn't mean it's all truth. It means there's more truths. And sometimes we have to be curious and ask ourselves why we hold on to the story that keeps leading us down the path. and asking ourselves why we keep going back to what we believe that to be the truth, that this is going to happen or that's going to happen. And what if it doesn't, right? And so it's like, how come it's so easy to have faith? How come it's so easy to get to fear and so hard to stay in faith? And that's one of the most powerful things you can ask yourself each and every day. That is, I live by that. It's like, it's so easy to get to jump into fear, but why is it so hard to stay in faith? It's because faith may not give us the exact outcome that we want of anything. And so sometimes it is the outcome that is designed, right? That is meant to be, whatever that may be. So the card speaks of, they all have a little quote. Honesty is caring. Honesty is caring when approached with awareness that first a person needs to be able to handle honesty. And that was one of the greatest lessons that these cards taught me, was when I was sharing a few years ago when they were first created. And I'm like, whoa, they're going to be so ready to come out right now. And the honesty was, the cards may have been ready. I wasn't ready. And as much as I thought I was ready, and almost 20 years in this industry, I was still not ready for the cards. And so the writings kept changing and it was about, you got to be willing to be honest with yourself, because we tell ourselves a lot of lies that we believe to be truths. And this is what makes us our own worst enemy sometimes. And it's hard for us to be our own inspiration, because we think we're accepting the honesty. And it's so easy for us to be honest with everyone else. And if we say, I know, but I keep repeating, then you don't know. You may have the tools, you may have the wisdom, you may have it, but you're not implementing it. And so the implementing means honesty. What do I keep contributing? How do I keep getting myself here? Ask yourself the why. The most powerful question you do is be like a child and be curious each and every day of the why. And so when Queenie speaks in her beginning, hi, my name is Queenie. They all speak their names. Today, allow me to remind you to become your best friend and not your enemy. Be your own inspiration. Don't make excuses for the shitty attitude and behavior of others, and then carry it as emotional baggage, because then it will become physical pain. And physical pain is not just in our bodies, like not just in our muscles, it's also in our heart. But physical pain also plays out in our mind. And we forget about that physical pain is also that pain that gets into our head and gets into our mind. And it kind of becomes the viruses of the mind that then gets us worked up and gets us in the chaotic energy. So there is a big shift that truly has to happen. And it really, truly comes with knowing that we all have the good, bad, and the ugly. We have all sides of us. Which side do you need to communicate with? Which part of you do you need to communicate with? And so trust that. Lindsay, Bert, you got your cards too today? Yay, yay, yay. I'm so glad you love them. And for anyone seeing Lindsay, Bert on the bottom of the screen here right now, her and Michelle actually help name the cards. So when you're reading the little thank you in the beginning of the book, you'll see their names. So Lindsay and Michelle, and all these ladies are all students of mine and now colleagues. And they're all out living and doing their thing. And so Lindsay and Michelle helped name the cards. So there's so much love went into this. And I did that on purpose in a way I really believe that if we support each other and we all come together, work done in a group and as a team, it's so much more beautiful. I choose not to walk alone, because it's a beautiful journey to walk with people. Remember that. So Wendy, reach out for that help sometimes. Reach out for that hug. Reach out for whatever you need, because be honest with yourself. Sometimes we need a little extra, and we're not enough to do it on our own, and we're not strong enough. And what we can't change, we need to hand over to whatever you believe, God, source, creator, whatever it is for you. Sometimes it's too big. I always say, this is too big for me. I can't do this. You can do this. Here, have it. Yes. Where's your ass kicking?
Did the ass kicking? Oh, Wendy.
There you go. Michelle said you need an ass kicking. You got the ass kicking. All right. So let's go back up. And Lisa Star Francis, I believe, was next, who I wrote down, and then Mary and Roxanne.
I think you might have skipped over Sherry Villeneuve. I think she's
Sherry was next.
between the
Oh,
two.
never mind.
She
Sorry.
likes to kind of hover and be quiet in there, so I got to come in there and pull her back out.
And Lisa and Lisa's like doing her dance, waiting. Lisa Star Francis waiting for her card. So I'm like, so yeah, Sherry. All right, so I'm going to start with Sherry. I'm going to Sherry. So Sherry Villeneuve, here we go. And so Sherry. Yes, do Sherry first. We are, and Sherry's laughing at us. You got Una, timeless treasure. Now, if you remember my teaching, Sherry, I teach about, and I write it in, I think it's in the second book. I think it's in, so for those who are new, I actually have 2 published books as well. So I think it's in My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection that I speak about the 360 circle, right, of life. And so, you know, when we take on a new project and we get all excited, enthusiastic, is that we get this timely thing. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And so we get motivated, and we get the quarter way through and we're like, yeah, we're proud of ourselves. We get halfway, we're like, yeah, we're really doing this. And then we get 3/4 and then we're like, I'm kind of like starting to slag on ourselves. Then we get to the last quarter mile. The last quarter mile is the hardest. It's like the last piece of pie in the tray, in the pie plate, and nobody wants to eat it, but everybody wants it. But everyone's like, is that temptation? And everyone chips away at it, and before you know, it's gone, right? It's like, and so it's like that. Sometimes that last quarter is not that you got to do the big things, is that it's the point of where we've exhausted everything. We know we've worked our butt off. We know we've done all the things that we could do, but we got to take the baby steps, because there is a reward that is coming. There's a milestone of being able to get to the ending of something, to be done with something, to complete something, so that we can begin again. But there is a ground zero that comes before we start again. And that ground zero is everything. And everything is in divine timing. So there's no rush. There's no ticking of a clock. It's the awareness that it may take me a little bit longer, but as long as I keep walking, as long as I keep moving forward, I have a pillow for my butt ready. So you are this close in this last quarter, and you're being told that you have to remember that you're here and you're not here, and that you're so close to having fully completed things, so close to being able to come full circle. And you need to really, truly remind yourself of this, to liberate yourself, to set yourself free, and stop living as if you're still back here. Because there's a part of you still living like you're back here, back in the early stages of something, but you're not. You're almost to the end of something. You're so close to the end. So stop living in where you were and start living in a place of enthusiasm within your heart, knowing that you're this close, and all that you got to keep doing is putting that one foot in front of the other. Because if not, you're finding yourself slacking, falling back in areas of your life where you need to put the focus in, so that the endings, the change, the release, the let go, whatever it is, can take place. And let that happen. And so that's what I got for you. And she is in Crone, and she's card number 35, which means she's an 8, right? Which is an infinity card, which also represents that of, this and that. And when we circle around. And so your soul is back this time for some reason that is here to liberate you, to set yourself free of the struggles. Because for some reason, your soul has taken many journeys of where it has struggled, many journeys of where you've had to take the hard road. And now it's time to start allowing yourself to believe that you're here to take the simpler, easier road moving forward, that this is an end of your struggles. That's what I got for you. Lisa?
Okay, so I want to use this as another teaching moment again. And Sherry, what I'm picking up for you is that you're really in a space of second guessing yourself. And I want to teach through how the physical body shows us how that is coming through again. Because when I was shuffling through the cards, I flipped
Right.
yours and I had Sherry's on the top. And then I had this whole awareness of, nope, you got to pick it up and you got to shuffle through again. And, it's just kind of that reminder of trust your first instinct, trust your first reaction. Don't let the mind try to jump in there and try to challenge you to second guess yourself. And I'm also going to tie in a little bit of human design here, because I remember that you are a sacral authority in your human design chart, which is really trusting and leading in your gut and not being persuaded by the emotional energies of others and or those old repeated patterns that jump into our minds. So Sherry, your card actually is coming to you in reverse. So I'm glad you have that pillow ready under your butt that you put in the comments there, because this does demonstrate a little bit of an attitude. And, this card is so beautiful, though. This is the imposter. This is O'Malley. And you can kind of see in the card, there's all of this stuff going on. But if you look right into the eyes, it's almost like the eyes are burning away. Now, this card is a beautiful representation of, let's say, a patchwork quilt. We all have these aspects of ourselves that are made from different pieces of our human journey, our experiences. And when our human eyes are closed and we start listening from that third eye awareness, from your gut instinct, from the way your body is really talking to you, well, then you're really starting to challenge some of those things that might be in a conditioned mindset. Right? So you're starting to, I feel like I should go in this direction. But then I thought, no, I probably shouldn't do that. But that first instinct, that is your truth. That is your knowing, and it's such a quiet whisper that we have to really lean into that to allow life to unfold. So don't be afraid to get messy. And I love getting cards in reverse, because that's really that deep dive into yourself. You can see it as you're placing your hand on your heart. You're calling yourself up and out, as Corrie likes to tell her students. And you're not afraid to do the shadow work. You're not afraid to say, you know what, we all have aspects of things about ourselves that are challenging or that we have to sift through. It's embracing that beautiful human journey and letting it be what it's meant to be. So don't second guess yourself, Sherry. Lean in there, trust in that first instinct, that first gut nudge, that first insight. Don't worry about what everybody else is saying. Don't worry about how your mind wants to talk to you. Have some fun with experimenting with your knowing and see that magic of life unfold again for you. It's an absolutely beautiful journey when we get out of our own ways. All right, over to you, Michelle.
All right. I got the observer for Sherry. Sherry is very much our sit back and observes everything and, takes it all in. And then when it comes her time to talk, she has so much wisdom to her. But this is telling you that it's time that you start observing your life, and that you're supposed to, you're being asked to kind of look backwards, and I just see all these stars and all this stuff going on and around here, and it's like the things you have seen, the things that like what you have to put into your own self, and now to take that forward for that next quarter mile, right, of your journey. So observing you're being asked to observe a lot of the good aspects of Sherry in the past, not the sad ones, not the mad ones, not the angry ones, but you really need to start honoring yourself and realizing how truly amazing you are. And yeah, like the quilt, like Lisa said, like there's so many pieces to that, and each piece is super special, and you're just such a super special, wonderful lady, and you deserve the world.
All right. Yay, thank you. And I disappeared for a moment because the squirrel that I feed every day has a time, and it was outside in the tree, and it was going berserk. And I mean berserk. She's a new mommy, and she was going berserk, and I could hear her getting madder and madder and madder, where she's like Sid. She was acting like Sid. And I had to go out and put peanuts in the tree so that the birds didn't steal the peanuts from her. So I had to go feed the squirrel in the tree. That's why I went missing. So I had to leave everyone here, and I could still hear everyone, but I had to leave everyone so that I could go feed the so I could go feed the squirrel. So I am now owned by the crows, by the magpies, by all the little birds, but now I have a squirrel. All winter I have deers that I feed. So
You're building your own ark.
Yeah.
my neighbors call me Snow White.
It is a magical place.
My one neighbor over on the other side, he said, Corrie, you're like Snow White. I'm like,
That's funny.
so yes, so that's where I went. All right, so now it's Lisa Star Francis. And so who wants to start with Lisa Star Francis? You are welcome, Sherry.
I think it's Lisa's turn to start.
My turn to start. I'm just reading Sherry's comment there. Thank you so much. Butt feels whooped, heart is touched. Aw, Sherry. All right, Lisa Star Francis. You know, I just did a drive down to Ontario to actually pick up these beautiful Everyday Goddess guidebooks and see my daughter Amelia. And I think we actually got pretty close to where you may be living. So one of these days, I'm going to show up on your doorstep. And I just threw a bunch of cards on the floor, Lisa. So I kind of feel like we're just throwing this to chance now. And you know what? I have no desire to pick them up. So I want to start your message off with, you know, it's a great time for you to let things go. And that could literally be physically cleaning out your house, cleaning out your space, cleaning yourself out energetically, you know, letting go of some of those mindsets, you know, whatever that is. But just have this freedom where literally, you know, and I'm going to kind of laugh because I almost feel like I want to just rip off my clothes and go dancing in the moonlight, right? Like just let everything out there, let it all strip away and let yourself be free. So it just feels like this is a beautiful time right now for you to step forward and not be afraid of really embracing the magic of life. And you got Vadoma. So there's your validation to that, right? And look at, she's got the beautiful midriff, her sacral area, all exposed in there. So that's a beautiful aspect of our creative energy, you know, giving birth to new things, not being afraid to allow ourselves to be seen and having some fun, dancing up a storm in there. And also knowing, you know, she's not alone. She's got all this beautiful spirit, all these dancing lights with her, because we're always connected to a power that is much greater than ourselves. So when we're afraid of doing something or we're afraid to let go, you know, call in those troops and ask, you know, well, what would they do? What would their advice do for me in this moment? And chances are you're going to get things coming forward in a very beautiful, playful way. And we see a lot of that in the work that you already do. You know, Lisa is known as the world alchemist. So she's got a beautiful way of using those spells and creating that magic. And they're kind of reminding you to not be afraid to do the same for yourself. So I do feel like this is a period that you're entering into with just a lot of fun, a lot of light, a lot of laughter, a lot of exposing all the beautiful aspects of who you are and letting that then, you know, just kind of shine down and rain on you. And I'm also drawn, Lisa, to this red carpet. I feel like there's something big either unfolding for you or already has unfolded for you, but you're stepping up and out in a really, really big way. So I want to say congratulations. I don't know what I'm congratulating, but I want to say congratulations to you. Yes. Okay, I'm going to pick up my cards and let these ladies take it over.
Can I go, Corrie? Because mine automatically flows into that.
You go.
I had to pick 3 cards because the first 2, I was like, no, that's me picking them. That's not spirit picking them. Nope. So then I got The Way Home, and it's Emmy. And yes, I feel like something karmatic is kind of coming to an end, and it's going to be a good end. And exactly like Lisa said, like something is coming, something is changing big. You know, just taking that extra little, you're riding the rainbow over to the next, you know, flow of things. And that, yes, same thing, something good is coming, and same, congratulations. Like, I feel like something's really going to happen huge for you that you've been waiting for a long time. And it's time to happen now. And it's going to go fast. It's going to be fast.
And I have Innocence Grace. So I have she's not the first card in the deck, but she's the number 1. 0 is I gotta get my camera's moved again. So she is innocence and being grace, and her hands are behind her back. And she's wearing her beautiful yellow dress, and she's got her little pink wings and her flowers on her head. And her head is slightly turned to the direction of like looking over, but her eyes are looking straight ahead, which is a huge part of the card, which would be overlooked if all you seen was her dress and her wings. But you've got to look close. And sometimes we forget to look close. And sometimes we forget to get in close. And so I'm going to read to you what the original little quote says. You were innocent until somebody told you you were not. You thought you saw until your eyes saw something more. Grace gives us permission to free ourselves of the thoughts that can turn our world dark. Grace may feel small, yet it has the power to change your life. And grace is a word that so follows you everywhere. And so looking at the fine details of life is to look at that you walk by grace. You walk with grace. You walk in grace. And grace teaches us about mercy. But grace teaches us about the wonder and the awe of that little innocence within us. And everything about you speaks about innocence. But it also speaks of a full circle moment that is happening right here tonight that would not be seen, would not be known. But my guide remembers this so clearly. Your first ever reading from me was Mother Mary. It was from the Mother Mary deck. And this energy that we're in right now, and for the rest of this, I think following us in through even next part of next week, is about the Divine Mother energy. And so when we awaken our own Divine Mother energy and we get to that point, is that we recognize that we are no longer the wounded child, that the Divine Mother helps bring the divine child up and into truth. And you are not the wounded child, that the essence of the divine child grown into the divine woman and the divine mother has taken place, and you have taken the place, not the place of somebody else, not the place of mother, but you have taken your place on your throne as that crone and as that divine mother energy. And with that brings in divine grandmother energy. You are stepping into a new stage of wisdom. And you are innocent to it, and you don't know it because you have not yet walked here. And you're about to walk a new journey. But you have to remember who you truly are now and what you truly are, because it is powerful, and it's a powerful reminder for you to really, truly look. You may look over here, you may look back there, but keep your eyes on the path going forward. Because this is now your journey, and it's a beautiful journey. And it's that moment of realizing I'm no longer this and I am that. And once you own that and you sit on that throne as that, you become, it's like your whole world becomes everything that you were actually here to be. So I'm excited to see where this takes you and what will unfold for you, because I believe this is a part of the blessing somehow. And just trust in that.
I have goosebumps all over my body for Lisa, and I have to share that when I picked all those cards up that fell to the floor and I put them back in my pile and I flipped over the deck, Mother Mary was right there. It was like after that whole tower moment of everything kind of falling away and you shedding what didn't belong anymore, she was there all along.
And I'm going to show you what's on the bottom of my deck. The underline on the bottom of my deck was Vidoma. So there's your validation.
I shuffled mine.
Michelle,
Sorry.
moving forward.
That's okay. And our actual next reading is actually Mary. So, and now we're moving forward with Mary. So it's just, so Mary is on YouTube
Funny.
watching. And so I'm just going to go all the way. So this is Mary Ziegler. And so Mary Ziegler, wherever you are, I hope you're still here. Hope everyone who's asking is staying with us. We are 1 hour in. So we're going to try to go for at least another half hour. We're trying our best here to keep going. So Mary Ziegler. And if you're here, if you're still here, if you asked for a card a while back and you're still here, let us know if you're still here. And I will start with Mary, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and start because I think she's still here. Or I'm going to go and shuffle for Mary. And I hope she's still here. So Mary, if you're still here, please let me know. We can see you. And if you wonder why I'm looking down, I'm looking on the messages on my phone too. Okay, I'm not seeing. Am I not seeing Mary? My messages have kind of stopped. I don't know why. We're going in order, Dana. You're on the list, but we're going in order. We're going in order of people that asked. So let's.
She's not commenting, no.
She's not commenting. So we'll come back if she shows back up again. And so then we had Roxanne. And where did I see Roxanne further back up here? Roxanne Bennett, are you still here? Roxanne Bennett. If you're still here. And for anyone wanting to know all the energy stuff that's happening on my YouTube, all the energy updates are also up. And it was for this weekend, but it also ties into today as well. And tomorrow I'll have more. So I'm not seeing Roxanne. And then we had Tina Simpson. I think it was Tina Simpson. So Tina, if you're here, I think it was Simpson.
I believe so.
Tina Simpson, you have to comment if you are still here. You have to let us know because the readings do take a little bit of time if you're not here. And then we have I lost my place. And then I think we had Jenna. Oh, no, we had Sharon Horner first, I think. Let me see. We have Sharon Horner, Lindsay Miller, and Sherry Houle. So let me go back up here. Sherry Houle is actually next. Sherry Houle, Sharon Horner.
Okay,
So
and they're both here.
So we're going Sherry Houle and then Sharon Horner, and then we'll come down and then to, I think, Aileen, sorry, Aileen, if you're still here. And Lindsay Miller. So Sherry.
Sherry Houle, eh?
Yep, Sherry Houle. Sharon Horner. Lindsay Miller. Aileen. So if we mix you guys up, we're still getting to you here. There's so many comments now that we're just trying to work around.
Good to mix things up, shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're just shake it up a little bit.
Move the energy around.
Yeah.
Shaking up.
So it may not be totally in order because we've lost the order. So
Yeah, we don't do that.
We're
We
just
don't
gonna
stay in
keep-
order anyway.
that's us. Okay, who's starting for Sherry?
Your turn. Your turn.
My turn?
Your turn.
Your turn.
Okay. Oh, Mary is there now. Okay, Mary, we have to do yours after because I was calling out to you and I said you would be there. Okay, so Sherry Houle. Sherry Houle, your card flipped over. You got Hollow, which is Willow. Hollow. Oh, that's a card in the deck too, by the way. That's interesting. Maybe that will come up. So we have the Guardian. We have Willow, and she is the Guardian. And I call her like one of the ancient ones. So she's one of the, it's that not everything is as it appears. Not everything is as it appears. We often could depict like the guardian angels as being like these big energies, and there's like big beings, and they are sometimes, but sometimes it is the small and the mighty. And so what the guardians are here to tell you, it's not about the big things that we sometimes do. It's often about the little things. And it's the little things that sometimes we need the most help with, because we believe that the little things are the things that we can overcome, that we can conquer, that we can do on our own. But it is the little things that sometimes it's like a pebble in the back of the shoe, in your shoe. It will, if you leave it there, it becomes a big problem. And so the little things are the things we'll often ignore in life. So your guardians are telling you, don't ignore the little things and be so focused on the big things, because the little things are the things that are going to cause the kind of those annoyances. But also don't ignore the little things in life, but also don't ignore the sense of your own youth, your own self, like who you are and where you are and the age you're at. You don't have to wait to get old to be something. You don't have to wait for specific times in your life. You don't have to wait for this achievement of something to be something. Stop the waiting game and start living, and truly allow the small things to become the greatest teachers, and the small things that need your attention. Those things will where you're going to get your greatest wisdom of accepting what is now and who you are now, and embodying that. Because it's like there's a little annoyance that's happening inside that's saying, here's this little pebble, you're ignoring the pebble, you're ignoring all of this parts of yourself that needs attention. So like the shadow, so the little rebellion, the little rebel, she acts up. And so the guardians, being ancient, is that they have seen the soul's journey many times. And you're here to end the cycle of not just this human life, but for where the soul has previously been. And so whatever and whoever you were in other life that the soul would have been, this lifetime is a time to end more karma than your generational of this lifetime. And so there's so many little moving pieces for you. And the guardians are saying, but the things you need to help with are the things you have to hand over. So you may not have full faith in giving it over and just trusting, but you got to take the pebble out. You got to take the pebble out that's causing the annoyance, and you got to take the pebble and you have to give the pebble, not just the big things. You have to give it to your guardians. And you got to take the shoe out, and you have to take the pebble out and keep walking, because they're going to turn that pebble into something bigger. And that pebble will become something bigger and greater that cannot fit in your shoe, but can be great wisdom for you moving forward. And I know that's very metaphoric, but I'm looking at what they're showing me. And that's what they're giving me in vision. So I'm seeing the vision. And so this is a vision. And so being a visionary, you know how this works for me, is I'm seeing a vision. It's metaphoric, but it will all make sense to you in divine time. Give the pebbles over to the guardians and let the guardians turn it into something big, and you keep walking and moving forward. There we go. Yay. That's what I got. And Mary, we are seeing your comments. Yes. And so we are seeing your comments on Facebook. You're fine. You're fine where you are. It's just, I was calling out to you and we weren't getting a response. So we just had to move on, but we'll go to you next. Okay. Who's got next card for Sherry?
You want to jump in for this one, Michelle, or you want me to go?
You go.
You want me to go? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just reading Sherry's comment. Metaphoric is how they always speak to me. And Sherry, it's interesting because when I was shuffling through the deck, I had a bunch that would not go back in. You got a story here. You got 4 cards. We're going to take a look at these because what's leading the way is the Lemurians. The Lemurians are all about a deep, deep love. So when you really get into the heart of your story and you allow yourself to, open up the covers, open up and don't be afraid to question your whys. As Corrie says, get clear on why do you want to do that? Who is that going to serve? Who are you at the aspect when you remove all of those different layers of self? So when we move her out of the way, we have the truth of Corina that appears once again. So that is definitely about, you know what, put yourself on your throne. Put yourself back up as the leader of your own life. We are all responsible to live our life. Nobody is going to rescue us. Nobody is going to change us. We have to do the work. So when you allow yourself to sit back up and treat yourself from that dignity, from that royalty, and really kind of get clear with yourself on where you're headed, why are you heading in that direction? And if it's not the path that is for your highest good, well, bring in a little bit of humor with that, because that just means that you are now able to pivot and go in a direction that is more in alignment to who you are. So this is where we start our journey. We have the beautiful girl in there that is all about beautiful transformation. This is Amara. So, right, so it's in your hands again. You have that clear vision when you're looking into your own crystal ball, and you're really looking at all those aspects and layers of yourself that you're ready to let go of. You're looking in the water at your own reflection. You're not afraid to get emotionally clear. You're not afraid to look at the passions. You're not afraid to do that work up through that throat chakra. That's all about listening deeper and communicating at a level that really is going to resonate again with your higher self, your ability to connect. And finally, bringing it all together, we have stepping forward, forever golden. This is Divina. So when you get to the end of your journey, when you sit and you do your meditations, you do your work, you talk to your guides, you get that clarity, you do your self-actualization, well, now you're in alignment. Now you're back to those golden aspects of what's really pulling you and where you know to go for your highest good. So there's a little bit of a story there for you, Sherry, some deep contemplating.
Wow. So I pulled card number 41, and it is Creator Worlds Enchanting Alchemist. So she's got her, this is the pebble that Corrie's talking about, giving it to your guardians. She's got her book of wisdom here. There's kind of some, I don't know if it's a flock of birds, but it makes like wings up here. So these are your guardians, and you yourself lighting up the world. You're very capable of bringing things to light. You're very capable of creating your own world. So whether you choose to create a world of love over a world of fear, you are very good at choosing either way. You just have to start to shift a little bit more to creating towards the love part and the fear. The book of wisdom. So much of anything spiritual here is we tap into wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is something we learn on the earth plane. So you do have a lot of wisdom that your guides give to you, and, you know, some of the ascending masters and stuff like that. And so just taking a little bit, like a little more listening, like Lisa said, listening to your truths and stuff like that. And that's going to push you forward more into that creating the world of love. And as you start to go more into your love and your faith, you start to push fear aside, and your world will change when you start putting the fear aside and realizing that that is false, that is not appearing to be real, and you can make everything you want in your world. So don't forget how powerful you are.
Thank you. Hope that all resonates with you. That makes sense to you, Sherry? Okay, so I do have to go back to Mary here, right? Yeah. So we got to go back.
I thought you were going to say the squirrel.
I got to go back to the squirrel. No, the squirrel's gone now. That is lunch.
And we have two Marys. Which
Hi.
Mary are we reading for?
Hi, Sherry. And in my language, Willalan. And so Mary Ziegler, she's on YouTube. So we're connecting to a person on YouTube right now. We're broadcasting Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I should be able to also do Instagram, but for some reason, I'm not able to get it up and running. So I got to keep working on that. For anyone who is new coming in here, these are my new deck of the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, and they are available. You can purchase your own, whether you're a newbie, you're a reader. These cards are designed so that anyone can use them. They have a whole book to tell you all about you. You can use it as your card of the day, in the morning, in the evening, whatever it may be. but they are now available. So you can get your own deck. Spend a lot of time at the post office lately. I even got to go out in the rain, and anyone knows me knows I don't like going out in the rain, but I've been out in the rain a whole lot. Okay, so Mary, and we're going to be jumping all over the place kind of here now. So I got Peaceful Perspective, which is Paisley, and she's card 6, Mind, Body, Soul Connection. And so she looks like she's so tranquil and at peace, but you can't see her other hand. What's she holding on to? Has she fully let go? Is she still chasing peace? Is she still trying to create peace? Is she still trying to make peace? As long as you try to make peace or you try to be at peace, you'll never be at peace. Ever. It's because you'll always be chasing, you'll always be looking for something, like it's supposed to look like something, like it's supposed to be something. And so peace comes in that sense of just life is what it is. And I free myself of all the burdens that I allow to hold me, that I allow to keep entering into my thoughts. I make peace with the past. I set other people's energy free, still waiting for someone to be apologetic or apologize for something 20 years ago in our lives. It's probably not going to happen. And the versions of all the people that are in our stories are no longer those people. You're no longer the person you were in any of those experiences. And so this is mind, body, soul connection. This is the alignment. And so the power of 3s is very embedded into this. Now she is the pink and white. And so that sense of self-love, we always hear, oh, you just love yourself. Well, that's easy enough, easier said than done. And it's that thing of it goes so much deeper. It's self-realization. It is self-awareness. And it's the recognizing of how there's the false confidence and that false sense of self that guides us through. And so because we often hold on to and we don't let go, we're using that one hand. So we have 2 hands that flow as a healer. One is for giving and one is for receiving. Is your receiving open? Are you open to receiving? Or have you become so embodied in the giving that you have not been open to receiving? And when we're not open to receiving, it makes being at peace very difficult. And people don't often link those 2 together because you're not available. You're too busy. And if you're too busy doing, you're too busy giving, even too busy trying to heal, even too busy trying to be freaking spiritual, even too busy trying to be something. It's like sometimes you just got to let all the shit go. And sometimes you just got to let yourself be human. And when you let yourself just be human, you start to release and you become available to feel, to sense, to just know. And so there is such beauty in here, but she's looking in the backward direction. She's not really looking forward. She's not looking over to here because whatever she's got held here, whatever of our past that we keep dragging in to our now steps into it becomes a piece of our future. And sometimes that's our fear stories. Sometimes that's our insecurities. Sometimes that's the low self-esteem. The image that we have of ourselves is what matters. And so the image you have of yourself, as thunder just started to roll, the universe is speaking to you. So it makes me cry, but how true this is. Yes. And so there's such truth. And these cards do make people cry because that's kind of what working with me, that's what I do is I help you to be able to turn that mirror around and let you look into you with love. And so it's not about self-love, it's self-realization that you got to learn to start to care about you. Caring is greater than compassion. Compassion can lead us down the road of just being a sponge to just like a doormat type of thing. Whereas caring means I care enough to say no. I care enough to let go. I care enough to say this is enough. And it comes with such powerful empowerment as well. So she's soft, she's gentle, but she's also she's at a beginner stage. right? And so she's in the maiden stage. So we all have a beginner in us, and we all sometimes step back to the beginner mind, and we're back to being a newbie, and we got lots to learn in life, and we only know about 5%. So when we know it all, when we think we know it all, we know like 5%. So there's so much to be discovered about you, and it's really truly time for you to start making peace with what was, and to spend a lot more time hanging out with who is here right now, and that's you. That's what I got for you. I hope that helps you.
I kind of have, so this is, what I'm hearing is exactly this card is when you start doing the things for you and looking into you and loving you and all that kind of stuff, you've got forever golden. So this is just kind of giving you there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that, you know, you are able to be happy, and you are able, you know, to do things for you and take care of you. So definitely this is just showing you that, yes, you know, by you working on you, you are on the right path. So you have free will, of course, you can choose whichever way you want. But when you start to choose you, you will become more to that forever golden path. And when you can see your true potential and the true you in life, it's actually kind of amazing. And a lot of people, you know, might think that it's very selfish of you, and, you know, that you kind of are gloating, or you sound like you're gloating, or you sound like you're what's the word? I don't know. But they sometimes think you sounding terrible, but no, you can celebrate you know, be forever golden. You are allowed to have that. So it's not selfish at all to start turning your life around. And like she said, there's always the beginner. And so now maybe this is that beginning, and you can come towards this beautiful card right here.
Beautiful. So I'm going to jump in there right away as well. And I want to just start off by saying, Mary, when I'm connecting with your energy, my whole self just went, oh. And what I feel in there is just there's so much distractions going on right now in life that it's almost feeling like you're coming from this place of just being exhausted. You know, and oftentimes that happens when we're trying to be and do and give ourselves away in so many different areas, that then kind of depletes that sense of self. So as I'm sitting here listening to the messages and kind of allowing the energy to flow through, you know, it's really that effort of connecting with your guides, your team, and calling in that light, calling in that love, calling in that aspects where they can be that strength for you. And the card that I got for you to kind of validate that is Eternal. This is Magdalene. And in the very front, you can see that, you know, she's leading by her heart. So it really gets back to the question of, you know, what is it that you really want to do for yourself? You know, like what makes your heart sing? What drives you forward? So it's almost like you're riding this wave of life right now. And life can be sometimes really, really hard. You know, a lot of people demand our attention. They want our times. We feel like we're just in 10 million different places. None of it feels good because none of it's what you want to do. And they're saying it's your time. It's your turn. And there's so much beautiful joy and richness when you can call in the guides and say, you know what, I'm much too small for this. You take it. You take my worries. You take my fears. You take these issues, and then let yourself go heal. Let yourself spend some time just embracing the sunlight, the fresh air, you know, whatever it is that's going to resonate with your heart, so that you can get filled up on life again. Because there's so much beauty out there to discover. Don't let the world deplete you. Let your light guide the way. Let you be a source that then others can look at and go, wow, you know what? I'm going to go and get some freedom too. I'm also going to kind of stop some of this bullshit. So don't be afraid to walk ahead and kind of lead the way in the direction that you know you need to go. But it's a single point of focus. So if you're always being pulled in different directions, this is where you got to get clear. What is it that's really important to you, and why is it important? Corrie's favorite. What is the whys, right? It goes into those coaching tools. All right.
And underneath the underline in my deck was this Magdalene. So that's the underline. This is what you really need, to be led by your heart, to trust and it's foreign to let your heart lead you. It's the mind, the ego always wants to take us back to comfort, but we're not here for comfort. We're here to move beyond that. And we're here to let the heart guide us sometimes, but you got to heal the instinctual self to let the heart guide you. That's so important. Can't preach.
I looked at the bottom of my deck too this time. I didn't shuffle.
Uh-huh.
Mine's not the same, but it says feed the light.
Yeah.
There we go. Yay. Okay. I'm going to go to Sharon, and then I got to go back to Mel. So,
Yeah.
and we're going to speed it up a little bit here. So we're going to go Sharon Horner. Sharon Horner is next. You are so welcome, Mary. So Sharon Horner. Well, we still got energy in us. We have to keep going. Sharon Horner, and I'm going. And I got the unassuming Amara, and she's card number 13. And so card number 13, I would say 13 is like one of the most powerful numbers, because 13, if you see the clock, right? The clock only goes to 12, but what's after 12? It's like, so it circles its way back around, but a clock was made by man, right? And then it was made to get us to feel the rush, to get going, to create this orderly timeliness. But divine timing works different. Then we were taught about the superstitions of 13, right? And so, but 12 made everything comfortable. 12 fits perfectly in, and 12 eggs, 13 is the odd number. And so often we feel like we don't really fit somewhere because that number doesn't match, or that our thoughts don't match, or our beliefs don't match. But when you find where you belong, there's always room for the one more. There's always space for a new opinion, a new view, a new way of seeing things. And so what you're being told is the unassuming Amara is that she is very golden, as are you, Sharon. Sharon, you have such a powerful golden light energy, and she's looking to the side of, say, really? Like, I know this. So your soul, your higher self knows exactly who you are. Now you got to get on board. And you have to stop telling yourself there's no space for me. There's tons of room for you. There's tons of space for you. And you so belong. And you so belong in so many places, and you're needed in so many places, and you have such a powerful energy. And so this is not to believe the man-made systematic stuff, to get past that, to let go of the old thoughts and the old way of thinking, and set yourself free of that. And it's kind of like a fuck it, and just fuck it. I know where I belong. I know where I love to be. I know the people I love to be with, and I'm fucking going, and I'm going to invite myself in, and I'm just doing it. And that's because that's what your higher self is trying to tell you. She knows who you are. You have to know it. And you're golden. You have such a beautiful light. And so Archangel Gabriel is pushing you. And so all that annoying push that you get, that's the Archangel Gabriel. All of the nagging voice that is telling you a lie, that's the shadow. That's the trickster energy. That's the ego's desire to get you back to that comfort place instead of into your truth. And it's time to walk in your truth. And I hope that helps. So after, good.
Yeah. So Sharon, what I got for you was card number 24, and this is Valdoma coming forward again. And it's interesting because I was looking down at this card and I was allowing a message to pour through me. And what I actually heard was, step back and conserve your energy. You don't have it in you to channel through this message. And I kind of sat with that for a little bit and I went, okay. Well, I'm going to go to this beautiful guidebook that has all of this incredible wisdom that comes with the set of cards. And I want to read you what it says at the very top for Valdoma, which is all about soul connection. So it says, the greatest gift is trusting you know the answer, but denying the whispers and flags will always leave you questioning how and why. Healing restores the confidence to trust. Now, I feel like that's a prime example of, we have an idea in our mind that we have to do things in a certain way. And if we keep feeling and feeding that story and not allowing ourselves to kind of break free of that pattern and trusting, you know what, I can go in another direction. I can make an easier path. I can take an easier road. I don't always have to have all the wisdom, all the answers, because I know where to go get it. So allowing yourself to be vulnerable, that's what's shown there when she bears her midriff. is being okay with not having the answers and then using the tools at your disposal. So I also want to read the healing that comes in this beautiful book for this, because it's such a powerful message. And it says, healing starts with considering, who do I need to become to live my best tomorrow? You are the gift, the blessing, and the magic is with you and how you show up. Start looking up to gain wisdom and to the past for knowledge. Much love, Vadoma. Over to you, Michelle.
Okay. So I pulled the card Diamond Effect to Outgrowth Effect, Christiana. So you're playing a little bit small. You're being asked that it's time to now rise up above that and, stop playing small. Start doing the healings, working. I just see chakras here. There's lots of the chakra colors. So I'm seeing doing a lot of healing with your chakras, kind of hearing maybe find somebody to do Reiki on you, and to definitely clear those chakras for you, because you're going up whether you want to or not. But by playing small, you're really holding yourself back here. And so like Corrie's she was looking back, wasn't she? Yeah. You're looking back. There's something back there that is within all those chakras.
She's looking this way.
Okay. She needs to look a different way. How about that? And so something is drawing her away from what's really, it's sitting in your chakras. And I really telling you to go do some Reiki healing, because it's time to rise above and it's time to start healing those things. And it's time to be a little bit more larger than life, because that's actually what you need to be right now. Yeah.
I have a class coming up, and it's only a 2-day class, and it's for the Lionsgate energy. And Sharon, I'm trying to find it to share it with you. I think it was on our school page. So I was just trying to share that link, because I feel like that may also resonate with you. It's a 2-evening class. It's live, it's interactive, but it's with the Lionsgate. So it's a portal energy. It's activation of our new energy. So I'm just trying to find that for you somewhere in here.
Right on the page there, Corrie.
Okay. And
also on your website.
Is it on the website too? Okay. And we're going to go to Mel. So whoever wants to go to Mel, and then we're going to Lindsay. I just can't remember Lindsay's last name. Miller, I think it was, but we're going to do Mel because we skipped over Mel, and so back to Mel.
Going to Mel. Do you want to start this one, Michelle?
Sure. All right. So I pulled Innocence and Grace, and I also got, I shouldn't say I pulled, they actually hopped out, and I got the Stargazer Frida. So you're kind of, what I'm getting is, it's a beginning thing again. And this is where you're joining this in. So it's like you need to start bringing yourself back to that little kid imagination and start imagining things, and kind of that'll take you to manifesting what it is that you want. So you're kind of being brought back to that inner child thing, and that you need to kind of start listening to the dreams of that inner child and to start, shooting for the stars. And nothing is too big and too big for you. Like nothing. Like say you want, okay, this is just an example. Everybody wants $1 million, but you want $1 million in your bank account. That's not too big for you. I'm not saying that's what you're going to get, but it's just an example. So just another playing small, stop playing small, going back to that innocence, that dream of that young child, shooting for something big, because your potential for what you that you want to do is there. So that's what I'm getting. Okay. So you have the potential to take your life and your dreams where you want to. So listen to her again, and that will take you into the stars, shooting big, getting bigger, and you can have what you want. That's what I got for you.
Beautiful. So I want to jump in and kind of validate Michelle's message there for you, Melanie, because when I was shuffling through, same kind of theme. And yes, I also pulled the same card there, Corrie. But what I want to show is I had a couple of them that were trying to go back in the deck, and they went to go in. And then what slid beside it was smoke and mirrors. So not only do we have the ability to kind of reach for the stars and to really set your sights high, but sometimes there's that illusion of, yeah, but I'm not really going to get it, or yeah, that's a little bit too far-fetched. And that's the smoke and the mirrors. So they're really wanting you to take a really good look at yourself and look deep, because anything is possible when it is in alignment to what is for your path, and when we're willing to do the work that gets us there. So that's kind of coming forward as the key, because there's a thumbprint right there on her dress, right on the aspect of herself. And what that means is, we can have all these great ideas. We can really reach ourselves out there and shoot for the stars. But if we're not willing to look in the mirror and do the work that it takes to get to our dreams, then there's a little bit of a disconnect. So it doesn't mean that you have to go in and run out there and accomplish it all, but just do one thing a day that gets you moving in the direction to where you know that you need to go. And eventually, over time, you're going to see just how far that you went. You're going to be seeing just how much closer those dreams and aspirations really came, because you were willing to start putting yourself on that path of alignment and doing that work by getting clear, first of all, why? Why do I want to do that? Why do I believe it's going to bring that happiness? And is this truly what's going to resonate with my higher self? So a little bit of contemplation there to do. And I love that we all pulled that same card for you, Mel. That's just absolutely fantastic.
That's so cool. Too cool.
This is you. Yeah. There's your sign. If all three cards came out the same card, there's your sign. There is no other message. It's clear, right? Stargazer, Frida. And so there's whales in the sky, and people always say, like, well, how do you see whales in the sky? I'm like, it's in the constellations. Everything, it's the same thing. Everything is within us. Everything you need is within us. And I wrote this down, and I heard this loud and clear. And it took me to a place in my first book, in the More Than Existing, and this is now revised. So if you had the original copy, now if you order, you got to get the white on top. But it's a new revised book. And so love stretched out is powerless. Love stretched out is powerless. So if you stretch yourself too thin, if you try to be, if you're so far out there in stretching out and trying to be available to everything, then you're literally not available, and there's nothing of use that is happening. So love stretched out is powerless. I got to remember that myself. I think we should all remember that, right? It's like elastic band will eventually break, right? It can only wrap so many times. It's going to snap. Hair, we always return it to hair. If you remove all of the pigment from hair, if you have black hair and you want white hair, and to get to white hair, by the time you get to white hair, you're going to need some hair extensions, because there is no integrity left to the hair, because you have to destroy the integrity to get to that what you wanted, instead of slowly going through the stages and the process to get there. And so when we stretch ourselves too thin, is that level of our own integrity gets weak, right? And so we're not so able to be who we are here to be. And so remember that. And being a 4 is, it can be 1-1s, it can be 2-2s, it can just be 3-1. There's so many options and so many choices. And so what you're being told is that you have so many ways of being able to make things work, but it has to work within the compass of what you have available. So you have everything you need is within us, but it has to work within the compass of what you have available and the energy you have available to be and do the things. So what is the most important to you? What do you value the most? And what do what's your heart calling you to be more attentive to, and bring your attention to that? And that's what I got for you. Yeah. And so, yeah. And so, Lindsay, I think Lindsay Miller, what's next? If you're still here, Lindsay, I think that was, and
Melanie put, I cleaned the inside of my vehicle windshield after work today. The smoke streaks are gone. No more glare at night. LOL.
Perfect.
Melanie.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so Lindsay Miller's still here?
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go first for Lindsay?
Miller.
You feeling the call? You want me to go?
I'm still shuffling. If you're ready, go ahead.
All right, Lindsay Miller. I have a great big hug being sent to you. I just have to tell you. I have a great big hug. You have a big hug. You have a lot of love coming from spirit for you and from spirit world for you. I just feel like you need a big hug, and it's a big hug, and I get like tears in my eyes. Someone that you dearly miss, and that was a big part of your life, and left a big imprint upon your life, and was really that inspiration for you, and it's like almost like a part of you has never really come back online since you've lost this person in your life, and it may not feel like it sometimes, but it's in your actions. And so I got cosmic beauty, Zoran, and she ties to the sacral, the solar plexus. And we always say like she's like giving birth. So it's like the birth. It's like a rebirth card. It's also a heart healing. And so the most beautiful thing we can do for ourselves is to give ourselves permission to stop, to pause, to slow down, to let our hearts heal. You can relate to this message. Yes, Janet. Yes, exactly. You so can. And so this is where she is in that of crone energy. There's an awareness of this. So this is where there's just this wisdom that is speaking to you, Lindsay, that is just saying to you in so many ways that the moment you step into giving yourself permission to feel that, you're going to feel the love, you're going to feel the divine, you're going to feel the spirit, you're going to feel the angelic realm, you're going to feel yourself being held in such love. And when we allow ourselves to be held, we can allow ourselves to fall. And when we allow ourselves to fall, we're not falling away, we're not falling down to a place of where we can't walk or we can't move. Is that we're letting ourselves fall into the surrendering into everything that you run from, everything that you avoid. And it's really, truly time for you to embody this beautiful healing journey. And there's intensity in her eyes. Zoran has this green eyes, and it's not eyes of envy. It is eyes of the healer. And it's embodying the healer within, and also the healer of the divine, that at nighttime when you sleep, wherever it is, you can call in this healing. But it's tied into your emotional stories, it's tied into your relationships, and it's time to give birth to a new story, which means you have to release and let go of the stories of the past. You got to break up with you. You got to break up with you to step into the journey of allowing yourself to become this beautiful self. So there's just something that is so cosmic and magical that is happening. And sometimes it don't feel like it when we're in the healing journey, because it's not always pretty, but there's just something that is just saying, you're ready for this now. And it's time for you to do this now. And so I really hope this resonates with you, because the power that I feel in this, and the unconditional love, and the power of, I'm going to use my word again, and you may not resonate with this word, but this is the way I connect to it. The power of God, the power of the presence of God consciousness, whether it's source, creator, sun, moon, stars, wind, I don't care what you call it, but the something that is more powerful than us is now here, kind of bringing this in for you and saying, it is now time, Lindsay. Stop running, stop avoiding, let yourself go through this journey. So thank you. And I've seen you post it, wow, so it must resonate with you.
So Lindsay, I actually got the Mother Mary card for you. And what I'm really drawn to in this card is going right to the hands. You know, you can't see her hands because there's times in our lives where other people have to really reach out to support us. And, you know, Mother Mary walked a journey that was very, very difficult and also very, very beautiful in its unfolding. And I also kind of wanted to show the front cover of the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, because Mother Mary's on the front of that, but in the pages in between are all the other 44 goddesses. but we don't walk our journeys by ourselves. There's so many aspects that come into play, and it's really allowing that time to peel through the layers and to reach out for the support and the guidance that you need, while also surrendering and saying, you know what, faith is leading the way. I don't know what's in the road ahead. I don't know what's around the next bend. Right now, it's all about healing and letting yourself be held and be surrounded by all that support. And that's a beautiful, beautiful journey to take when you really allow yourself to surrender into it. So don't be afraid to reach out, to reach up, to call in that support team, whatever your belief system is, and let that light wrap you to really feel that essence of you back up again.
Lindsay, I think you and I are a lot alike, because I pulled, and what Corrie said resonated huge with me, and what Lisa said resonated huge with me myself. And then I have the unseen wound Thecla. So there's a big warrior presence about you. You feel like you have to fight for everybody. You feel like you have to be bigger and louder, and I'm going to say false confidence, because then people don't, excuse my language, fuck with you. But at the same time, I feel like you have a small person around you, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, and they're looking up to you, and you have to show them the way. And you also have to know you're not alone. Because for so many years, I thought I was alone, even though I might have had lots of people around me, but I didn't see it that way. It's almost like you have to fight for those people to be around you, which you don't. Because in the end, when you stop fighting for that, the people who are meant to be around you are going to be around you. So remove the facade of the warrior. You can still be a warrior. You can still be very, very powerful, even if you're quiet. So just removing that. And see, Corrie, I did need to be here. I guess I've grown.
I guess you have.
It's hard to do. It's very hard to do. It's hard to remove that, because you think you have to be in control of everything, but we're really not in control of a lot of things. So fight every day for you is kind of what I'm saying. And when you fight every day for you, all the rest around you seems to fall into place. So take care of that and take care of you.
Thank you. Yes, 100% right, she says. And so when I created those cards, they were all images of the mirror reflection of myself that I seen in others. And so because I could see me in others, is that you attract those people into your life, right? And so Michelle, Lisa, Lindsay Burt, like all the people you're seeing here, Sherry Villeneuve, Tracy Leggett, like everyone who's in here, Mel, everyone who somehow has been a piece of my life, somehow have been, we're drawn to it. So when you look around at your life and you look around at some of the people, you say, well, why do I have so many difficult people? Why do I have so much struggle around me sometimes? Why do I have so many, why do I have so many needy people? Or why do I have this? Is that you need to turn that mirror around and ask yourself, what am I needing that I feel the need to always be trying to make myself available to everyone to be needed, right? Or why do I feel like I'm the one who has to step up to be the fixer? Why am I? So you turning that reflection around. And so Thecla was created a little bit from Michelle and, well, a lot from Michelle and her daughter. And that journey, because Michelle and I have known each other for a lot of years and we worked together. And she had a very tough facade and she wanted nothing to do with this world. And I don't push my world of anyone. And we worked together for a lot of years. And she said she didn't want nothing to do with my world until one day life changed her. And it began a journey for her of where she stepped in, and she stepped into this world. And so when she stepped into this world, it's not about becoming like holier than thou. It's about being authentic. But you can't be authentic until you can find you. Hence why I've written all these books. We only got 2 out yet. So this is called More Than Existing. You're here to more than just exist. You're here to be more than your stories. You got to find you and you're not everything, because you've become everything you've heard imprinted in life. And so there's just something so much more. And in the past few years, I've written 8 books. It's going to take us time to get them all out. But the Oracle cards is a part of that journey. It is a part of that story as well. Because I say I share stories, not how-tos. Because I can't tell you how to live your life. Everyone is going to be different. But I can share experiences to let you know you're not alone. That we've all have a lot of similarities. We're not all so different. We're all so much more alike than we think we are. Because we separate ourselves, and that's how we get so far away from ourselves. So you got to find that authentic self. And I can tell you, she is very gentle and soft.
Yeah.
It's like Michelle, because Michelle is soft.
It was all gooey inside.
We love all phases of her.
Right? Yeah, we love all
phases.
Yeah, yeah. How can I share how to start? I always say my biggest thing is to get into my programs. And if you can't do my big programs, take some of the free stuff that I have. If you can't afford to do those, and myself and Lisa have some amazing beginner programs that are now available in More Than Existing Academy. And Lisa does human design. And so you can do the introduction to the human design to get to know yourself a little bit more. And that's in there, and that's free. Then there's all kinds of other stuff. One of my greatest courses that I swear by is and I think that's still free, is the emotional intelligence.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Because what you have to do is learn the power of emotional evolution. And that's learning to grow up, right? So it's emotional intelligence. And when we learn to work with emotional intelligence, and that's what I do. I work in NLP. I work in emotional spiritual consulting. I'm a mystic. I'm all of those things in between, but I'm not just one, right? And so and of course I am a medium and a channel, but I'm not identified by anything. I am what anyone needs when I step in there. So any of my teachings and any teachings that Lisa have, they're all divinely guided. And you'll often see Michelle pops in and teaches some things too that come up. We just haven't seen it. So I think there's a call out here now that Michelle may have.
Come on, Michelle.
On the go. But I also have a Lionsgate one. But yeah, it's like, yes, I have big programs, and yes, they do cost money, but there is free stuff. You just got to sign up to the mteacademy.ca. It's all on the website, or scrolling across the bottom here. And there's just so many programs, and there's so many things available, and so many meditations. And on my YouTube channel, same thing. Start there. There's so many videos, and there's one class of almost everything in the playlist on my YouTube channel. And then I also have my podcast and my radio show. So there's all kinds of places where you can catch this work. And so, yeah. So I don't know if Aileen is still here. Aileen White, are you still here? And then Shelley Gladue had said that she had mentioned earlier.
I'm just going to go give my dog her meds. I'll be right back.
Okay. See, I had to feed squirrels. Michelle had to give her meds.
This is real life, and real life unfolds.
And real life unfolds, and we don't real life.
Thank you to everybody that's been sticking with us. And I think Carlene there, she's got to leave. It's quite late there in the evening. Thank you for coming in, Carlene.
Okay, so I don't see Aileen anymore, and I think she's probably in the East Coast as well. So Paula, Jesus' grandma, came to me in a dream and told me I was contacted to do what I'm doing. Yes. Yeah. And so Paula, a few years ago, Saint Anne came to me and guided me to go to Lac Sainte Anne and go to the pilgrimage after the pilgrimage was over. And she's very powerful. And so when Lac Sainte Anne comes in, when Saint Anne comes in and she takes you to places, it's not always that it's going to be an easy path she's going to ask you to walk, but it's going to be one well worth walking. And so when Saint Anne came to me, it was a stormy day and it was raining sideways. And I literally had to go walk the whole walk of the life of Jesus in Lac Sainte Anne. And the pilgrimage had just ended. And the whole pilgrimage that had taken place was, all the weekend. And I kept saying, I want to be at the pilgrimage. I want to be at the pilgrimage. And I couldn't be there. And I had to get all the way to the water, which was almost impossible to get to just get the holy water, to get that blessed water. And so the power, you would just never know who and what of this, of the spirit world. And there's so many realms that work with us, and she got Delilah that really works with us to really help us. And so you see, at one point in my life, I probably would have been afraid to speak of some of those people, some of those beings that existed in time, and however they are. You can call them avatars, you can call them that they walked on earth, whatever it is, but they're not tied to religion. Religion just claimed them, right? And it's not that I'm against any religion, but it's just that the fact that these beings speak to us in a way to remind us that they are also a reflection for us, and they're a reflection of us. So if you look at the avatar of Jesus, or the way Jesus is a person, a benevolent being, we've been told that we can't be that good of a person. We can't be that, right? It's like it's the unobtainable. But who says we can't be that? It's to keep us suppressed. And so there's just so much, right? And she just took good care of the children. Yes. And there's just so much magic. And when we open up our hearts and our eyes and everything, every part of us, to how magical the world is, it's amazing what happens. And that's how I've become who I've become. That's how I've become the published author and the spiritual teacher after, 30 years behind the chair and doing hair and aesthetics and owning businesses and all of those things. It pivoted me. It gave me it took my legs away. It took away my legs so that I would stop standing behind the chair and I would start to walk a new path. And so we just never know why they're coming to us. And there's such an important message in there to remember for us all, because I had to do this work. I had to do this, what I'm doing now. But I never did any of this out of any intentions to do this work. I didn't try to be anyone. And I believe I came in kicking and screaming, because I really did come in kicking and screaming. And there was no intention behind it. It was just, born this way. And it's just, as much as I tried to get away from it, they call us back. And so you're being called, Paula, in some way to really listen to her. And they may come once, they may come several times, but they often come because there's a message for us. So hold on to that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Now we are running down. So Shelley Gladue had asked Aileen. I didn't see her come in, so we're going to end with Shelley Gladue, and then we're going to do this again. We're going to set up another time, and all three of us are going to come back in again, and we're going to do this again. And we would love if Lindsay Burt is watching, and we would love if Lindsay Burt would join us. And we're going to put that out there, that Lindsay Burt, who owns her own metaphysical store in Drumheller, who put some names to these cards. Her energy is in there as well. And so we're hoping to be able to bring her in as well. So we'll do Shelley Gladue, and then we'll give a collective reading. So we'll give a card for Shelley, and then we're going to do a collective for everyone. So just stay with us for another little bit. So we'll give a collective ending card. That'll be a group card. So Shelley, who wants to go with Shelley first?
I'll dive in and start. Oh, Shelley, you are leading the way with Contessa. This is all about contentment, and this is such an aspect of when love leads the way forward, there's so much to discover. And oftentimes we find things that we didn't really know were there. It becomes the beautiful unveiling of sometimes what is hidden in the darkness, right? And sometimes even having the courage to walk through our shadows and to challenge some of our mindsets, our beliefs, our attitudes, our self-saboteurs, really that allows for that time of sitting in, you know what? I can do this work. I can follow this path. I can do what is necessary to walk forward, to embrace who I'm really meant to be and be more authentic. And I can do so from such a place of love. Sometimes we feel like the human journey, that healing journey, has to be difficult and it has to be painful. And I'm not going to lie, it's not easy. You definitely have to walk through your energy, but it's also a very beautiful, delicate, amazing journey when you allow yourself to just kind of go through it with grace. A lot of times it's hard because our mind beats us up for our mistakes, but they're not mistakes when you keep walking. So having the courage to just keep putting one foot in front of the next foot, in front of the next foot, and, trying the best that you can do. And I just finished reading the 4 agreements. And one of the lessons in there was, you know what, just show up and do your best. That's it. It's going to depend on your energy. It's going to depend on the day. And you know, some days are maybe our best is about that big, and other days it's like big mountains full. But nobody judges that except for ourselves. So when you allow yourself to just really tap into remembering all the things that you're doing right, giving yourself and feeding yourself that self-love, you're going to find the path becomes easier and lighter and more freeing. And it kind of takes over with this beautiful sense of contentment in there. So keep doing the work, keep walking forward, keep believing in yourself, because I feel like you're well on your way. So don't lose that momentum that you got going already.
Michelle, you got something?
Okay. So I pulled Eye of the Beholder, Queenie, and kind of the same thing. Like, so I'm kind of what I'm getting from this card is you can see it in 3 different ways, right? You can see it with total love, you can see it with fear, or you can see it with maybe a little bit of both of them. But whatever you are seeing by either 3 of these, you're being told to choose the love way, you know? So if you start to, you have a situation come up and you know you don't know what to think about it, always try to go to the way of love. And all 3 will be in there. We all have those three things, because this little guy here, her ego likes to come in and tell you the wrongful things, and that, you know, things aren't good enough and never will be good enough. But you have the power to see it exactly as it should be. And you always have to choose love. That's always the way to go. That's the path to go. So you are the eye of the beholder. So it's just a matter of which way you choose to see the things that come into your life. And I'll tell you, sometimes the shitty things are a lesson too, you know. So, but there's always something love that is in something that is not great as well. Yeah. Is there something with dogs with her? Because my dog came in too, just like your dog came in.
Right. It's animal spirit, right? So you got a lot of animal spirit. I do want to say this. Look up your Chinese astrology. Look up your Chinese astrology sign and what you are and what year you are. And they go in 12, it go in cycles of 12, like, so same as Western astrology. But I feel like there's something, because it ties into our moon as well. So it works. I think how it works is it works with our moon. So like I'm year the pig. And so each year changes. And so when our year comes up again, or when it's our year. And so for some reason, Shelley, I'm feeling the need for you to look into what that year represents. And so it also ties into an element, whether it's metal, water, whatever it may be. But there's aspects of yourself that are in the shadow of self, which is in the moon energy, which is in the emotions, that speaks about truth for you. And it speaks about things that you can't really deny. As much as we try not to be something, some things are innate. Like I try not to be so people used to call it bossy. I call it great leadership. Is that I have a big personality and I have a big way about myself. And when I tried not to be it, I lost everything of me. But I had to lose it. I had to lose the false confidence to recognize that, you know, there's so much of me that I tried to bring back to make other people feel comfortable in my presence. But then I realized it had nothing to do with me. And so really look up you and look into those parts of yourself that may be a problem for everyone else, but are actually not a problem, because you got the stargazer. And so you got to look into the sun, moon, the stars. You got to look into the greater, the bigger picture to really get some of the key elements of why you do the things you do and why you are the way that you are, Shelley. And it just speaks of it and just says, you know what, as much as you've tried to run, as much as you've tried to change, as much as you've tried to not to be, there's aspects of yourself that you just gotta embody it, and you gotta rock it, and you gotta rock it out, because it is who you are, with humble confidence, right? With the sense of knowing that it's like, and so there was a lot of me that was protection, and I had to remove the protection, like Michelle talking about the warrior energy, right? So a lot of that warrior energy, same thing. It's like that's the archetype of what we become in protection. but we don't have the wounded child anymore to protect. We're not the wounded child, but it's the aspects of the life of life that still bring that presence into triggers, right? What triggers us. But sometimes that parts of ourselves that is strong and courageous really truly comes in. And like part of Lisa's is her innocence. And her innocence is what? And that's a part of her innate character, her identity, which truly makes her authentic self, which is so beautiful. And so I really want you to look into that, because it's like looking into the sun, moon, the stars. And we can also, if you have a session with me or anything, we can also go into your natal chart. Lisa can do your human design. And so I suggest even getting your human design chart done with Lisa, because I think it's really going to help you. So yeah, check into that. That's what we got for you. But yeah, there's parts of yourself that's just, even if you try to get rid of it, it's coming back because it's just you. And I really want you to embody those parts of yourself now. All right. So we're going to end up with a collective energy card, because we're 2 hours in that we've been here, and we're losing power now.
I still got to make my dinner.
No, I'm like, I had a slice of toast earlier. And I have a new meditation that needs to get posted on YouTube, and then not tonight, but later Lisa will also get it into the academy, but I'll also put it on YouTube. We've been linking some things to both just so it reaches the wider audience. Was that Sid? Yes, that was Sid. Yes.
You have your new sleep meditation on your YouTube channel as well. That is absolutely amazing. If anybody's having trouble sleeping, and I listened to it myself the other night, and sometimes it's hard to get the mind to shut off. And I love how you're taking through all these different breathing techniques to start to then settle down a body that is sometimes really, really active, or a mind that's really active. And that was my reminder, Corrie, that I need to go and do that myself again tonight. So I'm going to be heading into the YouTube page and checking that out, and walking the talk, doing it for myself.
I'm putting the link over. I got all kinds of links in here tonight, guys. So there's links to purchase the card, so you can purchase and if you're in the US, because it says, free shipping within Canada, we still can ship into the US. It's not that we can't ship to the US. It's just, we'll have to just message us and we'll find out your shipping for you. We'll get it all figured out, but we can ship to you. It's not that you can't get the cards. And so these are available. You can also get a trio pack. You can get a trio pack from me. So if you want a signed copy with your own personal note in them, you can purchase all three, my 2 cards and the Oracle cards, and I will personally write you a note in each of them and sign them and then send it out to you. And I did open up a box of cards today and signed someone's cards that bought a trio pack and then wrapped it all back up again, sealed it back up again. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting the trio pack, you can get both of my books, and that's on the website, and the cards. So it's all on CorrieThorne.com. So yeah, we have that available as well. Yes, and so if you love my cards, you can purchase your own deck. They are available. All right, who's going first? Collective energy.
You just shared the trio card, and what I actually pulled for the collective was the divine feminine, the sisterhood. And this is number 22, and 2s are all about partnerships, right? It takes a team to really get things done, and a lot of times we believe that it's all on us. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, and as you're seeing tonight, I mean, that's certainly not the case. There's 3 of us on screen where we're taking turns doing reading. You're all getting different viewpoints and different aspects of a message, but that's the flavor and the richness when people come together in a collaboration to make the world a better place. And that's something that we all bring to the table. We all have a certain role to play, and it doesn't matter where you are in this role. It just matters that you do things to the best of your ability and you have fun. So sometimes if you're under the illusion that, I got to hold this all up, well, then you're keeping yourself really trapped. You're keeping yourself just like this little fish in the glass. You're keeping yourself limited when there's this whole ocean and sea of possibilities out there when you allow yourself to expand. So don't get trapped into the competitive energy that's out there, that you got to be better than somebody else, or you can't do something because, oh my goodness, they do it so much better than I could. That is a limitation of a mind and a fear story. Let yourself have fun. Let yourself just embrace life. Let yourself reach out to somebody else, and their strengths can complement your weaknesses and vice versa. And I know in my own journey, when I really sat with my weaknesses and I learned to then ask for help, man, I sure got to enjoy all the things that I really like to do a lot more, because I didn't want to do those things that I was feeling weak at anyway. They weren't my forte and they didn't bring any enjoyment. So learning to collaborate with others and really bring that into your circle of awareness. And this is kind of, I'm speaking to parents right now. If you have children, let them come in and help, and let them help in their way. Don't try to go back in and fix it. Just feed the opportunity to help and learn and grow, and give yourself some permission to even let things go undone sometimes. Mothers need to rest. You need to put your feet up.
And if somebody else folds your towels and they're not the way you like them, it's an insult to change it. So that's why people stop helping you. Remember that. If what anyone is doing for you is not good enough, and that's where the martyr complex comes in, is that you feel you always have to be the one to do it and nobody else can do it for you. What you're telling everyone else, they're not good enough. And you're spreading a message. So why would anyone step in and help? That's why people step back. That's why people step out. Right. And so there's big lessons in there. And I want to go back to Lisa's card for a minute. And I want to read this.
I'll hold it up for you.
Hold it up for me.
There you go.
See that little cup? See all of that water? When we take a fish, from its natural environment, it's important that we recreate that for the fishes. So it's important that we recreate that same environment, for the fish's survival depends on it. The same thing that keeps a fish alive can kill it if it is not treated right. The responsibility is in our hands because the fish didn't ask to be taken and confined for our pleasures. And so the water, think about that as you're made of water. Right. And think of you having that water in you. And so every time you take yourself from the comforts of your truth and you put yourself in somewhere where you feel like, oh, I got to do this, or I got to make that happen, nobody's going to take your place. So if you put yourself into an environment that's not designed for you, then it's going to really, truly kill your inspiration, your desires. Your light is going to dull, because you're somewhere that's not really created for you. It's not meant for you, because you even like especially if somebody says to you, you're so good at that, you should do that. Most of us chase our careers and our dreams all because we're feeding the shadow. The need to be needed, the need to be important, the need to be, I'm so good at doing hair, right? It's like, oh, I was so good at doing hair that's what you should do. Yes, I was, and I loved it. But the other aspect of that was that it made me, it put me in a position of where people needed me, where I could belong somewhere. And that need that, people need you, you need to be available. And so there's a lot of stories that you unpacked, and a lot of whys of why we're where we are. So those stories can contaminate our mind, and the possibility of just being a creative and to be artistic, I never thought of anything other. And I'm like, I probably would have been a scientist if I really wanted to be who I really probably would have wanted to be, or I would have been an artist, or I could have, who knows, but I might have also still been a hairstylist. You just don't know. And so when you allow yourself to be in the environment of people that truly are supportive, they cheer you on. They don't push that agenda. There's no push, and they don't carry that sense of envy. They celebrate each other. And when we celebrate each other, it's what we call green flags. It's not red flags, it's green flags. It's go. Those that celebrate you, that's your place. Those that cheer you on, that's your place. Those that can be inspired by you, but find their own way, that's your place. And that's why it's so beautiful to be. I love having my people around me. I think it's so beautiful to watch each other grow, and it inspires you to grow more. So yeah, so that's part of that one card. That all comes with that one card. Michelle.
I got a 3-pack story if we're on 3 packs. The guardian willow. So always, reaching out to your guardians, talking to your guardians. They're going to help you with your beautiful transformation. Is it Amard? Oh no, Amara. Sorry, I thought there was a line there. Glasses, Michelle. Amara. So definitely, the guardians will help you lead you onto your path to that beautiful transformation. And at the end of that is Davina, forever golden. So when you're on your true authentic self path, this is where you're headed. Guaranteed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So a pile of cards fell out. That's not a jumper card. So if a card jumps out of your pack and it's one or two, maybe three, they're meant to be out. If it's like half the deck, put them back in the deck and shuffle again. And the cards are designed to come out in reverse because there's reverse meanings and there's healings. So at the end of each message in the book, there's also a healing. So we have the performer, Sasha.
Yeah.
And she ties so beautifully into the whole message, and she's a 3. So she is the mind, body, spirit, the mind, body, soul connection, that sense of alignment. And so when we truly step up and recognize that we don't have to wear a mask, who you are when nobody is looking matters the most. I write it everywhere. I teach it everywhere. It is the everything to that I live by, because I spent a lot of time crying in the corners, who spent a lot of time being everything for the world outside and having nothing left for myself. I understand it. I know it. I lived it. I was a workaholic in so many ways and just lived that way. And so that performer was, I was always available to be on, to put the mask on, to smile. But there comes a point in a time that when you look at the version of yourself that is there when nobody is looking, and you're not available for anything when nobody's looking. If whatever you're doing behind closed doors, if you're doing it in secret, our isms, our addictions, our things that we hide from, those are not our truths, and they're not our way, and they're not our healthiness, and they're not our glory moments. Those are the things that we have to really, truly look at sometimes. And so when we look at Sasha, the performer, she's in the maiden, she's in the beginning. And it's not that she's got it wrong. And sometimes she's on top of the world. And so I remember my dear friend, Althea Gray, saying to me, and she just said, when the lights come on, you become everything that you are here to be on this earth. But you become it only when the lights come on. Why are you not everything that you are for everyone else? Why are you never that for you? Why do you never sit with the oracle? Why do you never sit with the healer? Why do you give it to everyone else and you give nothing to yourself? And that question, that moment was a light bulb moment for me. And that became, and I was well in the journey of this, but when the lights would come on, I could shine. I could be the channel. I could be all of those things. I could be all of that for everyone else. But I didn't know how to be it for myself because I didn't feel I should give it to myself. Didn't feel worthy. And so that's where we speak about your self-esteem. And that's where emotional and spiritual evolution has to happen in order for the physical body to be able to really be the true, healed, clear vessel. Because you're here to live. You're here to live your human experience. And so faking it until you make it is a bullshit story. I'm just going to say. And it's, you are worth the hard work that goes into the journey. Faking it until you make it does not bring the truest version of you closer to what you seek the most. Is there an imposter within you or around you? Not everyone is as they seem or as you may believe them to be. So we can turn beautiful people into enemies. We can turn ourselves into our enemies. But that imposter syndrome that exists within us when we're trying to keep wearing the mask and trying to be, that we can be an imposter in our own lives. And there's so many beautiful elements to this card and so many beautiful elements to every card in a deck. And I love how Lisa always brings in the Mother Mary and calls her Mary. And we didn't name her Mary. We named her She Is. So her name is She Is, and she is the everyday miracle. But of course, I channel Mary. And so the divine mother and the divine, that element of ourselves can be Isis, it can be Mother Mary, it can be you. It can be all of what we are when we embody that sense of, no matter, our pain is real, our misery is choice. And why are we punishing ourselves? And why do we continue to punish ourselves? Why are we unkind to ourselves? When we're unkind to ourselves, it appears as attitudes. And so much of what I do and why I do what I do is so that I can share, so that I can tell you, you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all walking a path. We're all walking a journey. And every leader is a follower, and every follower is a leader. We're all walking, and there's somebody watching, including your inner child, the children, and there's somebody coming behind you. And there's always going to be somebody ahead of you. It's not a race. It's a life. And it's here to be lived. And that's what we have for you all. And there's many new firsts. And so I'm on my own journey of many new firsts, and I'm embodying these firsts. And so this is my first deck of Oracle cards, and I'm so happy they're out, but I didn't do it alone. And so it takes a team, and this was the remembering of a childhood experiences and just coming to life. So I'm so happy I can share it with, and thank you to Lisa and Michelle for coming in tonight, and for the 2.5 hours we have put in here tonight, and for everyone who has stayed with us. Thank you. If you're not yet following the page, follow my page. You can also go to Lisa's page and Michelle's page, which I'll put the link in so that we can share. It's Loving Energy Recharge and then Angelic Realm Healing. That's their 2 pages, and I will share those. And then if you go to mteacademy.ca, we have a Facebook page as well. So it's More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness. We'll share all those. We'll share all the links to everything. We will put everything in here for you. Much love. Have a beautiful night. My dogs are dying to go out to pee, so I gotta go because Sid is dancing. Have a beautiful night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.